Welcome back to Hard Copy. You can follow the conversation by tweeting at us. CTV Hard Copy is the address, or you can send us a feedback at hardcopy@channelstv.com. We're talking about the farmer and herdsmen crisis. Has been rocking certain parts of the country and bringing you perspectives from some prominent Nigerians. Now, 2 weeks ago, I spoke with the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, on the matter. And here's what he says the federal government is proffering as a solution to the growing menace.
The most sure way of protecting, especially against the kinds of localized criminal activity, is by ensuring that there is community policing, that there is local policing. And the APC, the government of the APC, said from day one that we're going to do state police. There's a bill in the National Assembly on the state police issue, but really, I think that that's the direction that we have to go. But in the meantime, the president ordered both the military and the army to ensure that anyone, herdsmen or whoever, who carries weapons, even if you don't use the weapons, if you are carrying weapons illegally, you will be arrested and you'll be prosecuted. There are kidnappers. There are so many who have been arrested. Unfortunately, our prosecution system in the States is extremely slow. Very, very many. In fact, the other day, I think it was Governor El-Rufai who was telling me of the number of people who were in custody for acts of kidnapping. I'm not sure it was Governor El-Rufai, one of the governors was telling me. And they're all over the place, people who are arrested. Very many times you find that these kidnappings are foiled. You find that the people are actually arrested. But we have a prosecution system that is slow, which is one of the problems that we have to deal with. But these are, again, our state issues. Each state really has to work on its own prosecutorial system. Unfortunately, sometimes, because we have a centralized police system, when a policeman arrests someone today and is supposed to be giving evidence, in 2-3 months' time, he's transferred out of state. So that stalls prosecution, makes it difficult for the prosecution to continue. So really, there are structural issues, but I want to say that the president is completely committed to this issue of ensuring that the safety of lives and property, the herdsmen and farmer things, he's absolutely given orders that this must not be tolerated, killings of people must not be tolerated. And we're trying to work with state governments, trying to work with the state police commands to ensure that we're able to deal with these problems as they arise. In a country as big as ours, frankly, it's extremely, and with relatively weak institutions, which we are obviously working day by day to strengthen, you're going to have these kinds of challenges. You're going to have challenges of law enforcement. You're going to have those challenges, as it is in many places. But I think the most important thing is a focus on trying to resolve those issues, on dealing with those issues as they arise, and trying to, be a bit far-sighted about what to do as the years go by.
Well, that was Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. The herdsmen and farmers crisis does have the potential to become a crisis of gigantic proportions if not handled properly. For the team at Hard Copy, the issue is an ongoing concern. Is the State Security Services aware of the international dimension of this problem as raised by the governor of Kaduna State? If they are they sharing intelligence with state governors? What are we to make of some of the alleged conspiracy theories where the herdsmen are said to have settled in the lands belonging to the farmers? We'll be handling some of these questions in just a moment.
My name is Adegoke Joshua Kukola Ibrahim.
My name is Francis Mary. My name is Eddie Jong Esken.
The strikes have to end, totally.
As real as it gets.
When anybody brutalizes, any police officer brutalizes the civilian that's supposed to be protecting, there should be very stiff punishments.
How badly have you wanted that story around you told? Take that picture or video, add a description, the location, and the name of the reporter, and your story will hit the screen. The Channels TV Eyewitness Report.
Here's why you should start your Saturday with us.
Hello. Good morning and welcome to your Saturday morning wake-up.
We ask precise questions.
The very law that they are breaching, if they decide to shoot.
And get precise answers.
Whether it's PDP or APC, I don't care.
Although there are times simple questions cause commotion, the drama could be hilarious.
Politics of mediocrity, politics of prebendalism,
or contentious. Join us on Sunrise
How do you deal with a world where almost all devices can speak one language, making them smarter, where mundane physical objects can connect to networks and communicate with mobile devices? Watch Tech Trends on Channels Television to learn how to make smart use of technology. Tech Trends, the tech edge you need.
Well, Professor Chidi Odinkalo, a senior legal officer for the Africa program of the Open Society Justice Initiative and former chairman of the Governing Council at the National Human Rights Commission, joins us now. Professor, thank you so much for coming on Hard Copy.
Thank you very much, Mark. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Well, I'm sure you have been monitoring what's been going on with the farmer and herdsman crisis in recent times. What's your perspective on what's been happening?
It's tragic. It's quite clear that this was predictable. There are two major factors that have come together to bring this about. One is climate change. The other is conflict in the Sahelian parts of Nigeria. And they've driven down herds and also the herders, and they've driven them down into the savannah, which is the middle belt, essentially, from southern Kaduna down to the northern regions of Enugu State and the parts of Ondo State. That's a broad constellation of the territory. Now, we could easily have adapted better. We could have provided for this better. Now, of course, you hear stuff about these Congolese and Nigerians and Chadians. The fact of the matter is that this is happening in Nigerian territory. And whoever is being affected by this movement of herds and human beings, we could easily have predicted. The Lake Chad, which serves about 6 countries, lost over 90% of its water in the past 50 years. It's displaced over 60 million herds people, over 60 million herds and nearly 30 million human beings.
Well, Professor, I know that, you've only just come on, but I'm afraid that we've totally run out of time on the program. Just quickly, do you think that the federal government is handling this as it should?
No.
Will ranching or grazing reserves be the solution to the crisis?
We already have grazing reserves. There are about 453 grazing reserves. About 13% of them are gazetted. What we need to do is at least make sure all of them are gazetted, make sure that there is adaptation taking place, and make sure that our herds people are provided for. And we then upgrade herding into a way, or rather livestock farming into the 21st century.
Well, Professor, I'm so sorry that we have to, round off right now. I have to thank you very much for coming on Hard Copy. Well, that's today's edition of the program. We barely scratched the surface. We're hoping that we'll be able to bring you back sometime soon. Thank you so much for watching the program. I'm Maokwe Ogun.